know I got the receipts, girl. You know I got the receipts. Welcome back to the Sweet Pea Diaries. It's your girl Sweet Pea, and I'm back with another video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. And if you are a new subscriber, welcome to the Sweet Pea Diaries. Be sure to like this video, share this video, but most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, quick sound check. Please let me know if you can hear me and if you can see. Please let me know. I see everyone is here. I'm just going to do a quick video, quick update on this case. It looks like it might be a done deal for one of the attorneys. So please let me know if you guys can hear, and then we can just jump right into it. This is just going to be a really brief update. So let me know if you can hear really quickly, and we're going to jump right into it. All right. So it looks like Kenneth Petty has been dismissed from the lawsuit. We knew that that was going to happen. Jennifer had already dismissed Nicki Minaj last week, like a couple weeks ago. She had dismissed Nicki Minaj from the lawsuit. She's actually voluntarily dismissing these lawsuits without prejudice. Without prejudice means that a lawsuit can be refiled. And from what it looks like, judging by the documentation, these lawsuits are being dropped because there are jurisdiction issues. As you know, when we did all of the updates, the 3 jurisdictions that were included in this case were Georgia, California, and New York. So each, I guess, charge or claim that Jennifer had, and each charge that was against whichever defendant, there were jurisdictions over each person. Okay. So because of that, there were a lot of twists and turns. There were actually sanctions that Judd Bernstein, which is Nicki Minaj's attorney, wanted to issue because of this, stating that the jurisdiction was wrong to begin with. So whatever. But I don't get that, really, to be honest with you. After reviewing this and really thinking about what's been going on with this case, I don't understand why there were so many different jurisdictions involved. She's saying, and I do understand, because the brunt of the crime, as far as what happened in 94, that occurred in New York. So you had New York as the jurisdiction for that. And then Jennifer lives in Georgia. So the threatening and the harassment and what she was going through, that happened in Georgia. But then you have Nicki Minaj, who lives in California. So there is just jurisdiction issues. So they got to get that straightened out. So that's why these lawsuits are actually being dropped. They're not being dropped because Jennifer doesn't have any evidence. They are only being dropped for jurisdiction reasons. Okay. Now, when we get into Stephen's letter, okay, we get into what Stephen issued to the court. They have been going back and forth. These two attorneys, they have been going back and forth. Now, this is a letter that was issued on the 24th on behalf of Nicki Minaj's counsel, Stephen. And he's stating in this letter, in my January 21st letter to Your Honor, I demonstrated how Onika Tanya Maraj can't even meet the lower standard of sanctions under Rule 1C2. Yet Onika Tanya Maraj's counsel claims to be seeking a brief scheduling for sanctions under they issue the law and the court's inherent power. If Onika Tanya Maraj cannot show that any of the plaintiff's allegations were objectively unreasonable, it is axiomatic that she cannot meet the higher standard subjective bad faith required for such sanctions. On January 20th, Onika Tanya Maraj and her counsel learned that we were refiling against her in California. Hence the reason that they filed a letter with the court on the same date. This request is nothing more than an attempt to delay the plaintiff's refiling action against Onika Tanya Maraj. Now, what is it that the sanctions, what is it that they are trying to say on behalf of Nicki Minaj? Why are the sanctions wanting to be issued? It says Mr. Bernstein's recent letter itself fails to demonstrate that anything signed, filed, submitted, or advocated by plaintiffs' counsel was frivolous, legally unreasonable, or factually without foundation. In fact, Mr. Bernstein does not even clearly state the grounds for which he seeks to file sanctions. He does not cite a single case in his letter, nor does he include any of the motions which purportedly detailed his grounds, which is especially egregious given the potential effects such serious accusations could have on the plaintiff and her counsel. They're just merely threats to harm the plaintiff because Onika Tanya Maraj's fans believe that Jennifer is lying, and harm to counsel's reputation and business. If Mr. Bernstein is claiming that he is seeking grounds for accusations regarding Onika Tanya Maraj's membership in the Make Bella Brims gang, then Onika Tanya Maraj's supposed threats to plaintiff's life is not valid. I believe Your Honor would find an objectively reasonable basis for such allegations. I urge Your Honor to review Exhibit A. It is a photograph of Onika Tanya Maraj making the Make Bella Gang's gang sign. All right? That is her making the gang sign. So they wanted to issue sanctions on Jennifer's attorneys and Jennifer on the plaintiff's side because they're saying they are making allegations that are not proven. And so they said, well, you want proof? Here's proof that she's part of the gang because she's throwing up gang signs. So they have her aside of Kenny, who's throwing up the same sign in a video, and they just took a still shot of him doing that. So they are showing that as evidence, all right? But basically, these attorneys have been going back and forth, okay? They have been going back and forth. Stephen Gordon, which is an attorney for Jennifer, he is also stating that Judd has been harassing him and his wife. He's been threatening his, to expose his wife's, social media activity, bringing his wife into this. And he's basically saying that those attorneys are doing the same type of behavior that Nicki Minaj is being accused of and being sued for. So Judd comes back, and he basically says, I am not doing these things. I know that we are going back and forth. I'm in receipt of these letters, but he says, I do not want to subject the court to a deluge of submissions concerning scheduling, and I certainly am not going to rise to the bait of writing letters demonstrating why Mr. Blackburn and Mr. Gordon are engaging in additional sanctionable conduct by sending correspondence to the court filled with false and or intentionally misleading accusations. Instead, I will respond to their accusations under oath by serving my sanctions motion on them or filing them if the court refers the motion to the magistrate Judge Cho by no later than Wednesday, January 26th. If after reviewing my motion, Mr. Gordon and Mr. Blackburn believe that they truly need until March to respond to it, I will consent to whatever date in March which they request. So this is just a lot of back and forth. They're going back and forth about, sanctions. They have not still yet to respond to the lawsuit and say what they intended to do about this lawsuit. Instead, everyone is going back and forth with letters to the judge, and the judge has not responded. He just issued a response stating, listen, you guys need to get in your briefing schedule and what it is that how you guys are going to go about this. But as far as the bickering and the back and forth, he hasn't even answered to any of that. We're not even in the discovery phase of this case. We're still in the preliminary stages, and they can't get it off the ground. All right. They can't. It's a lot of bickering on behalf of the attorneys in both camps, as you're going to see going forward. All right. So Judd sent that to the court, but this is an example of what is actually going on behind the scenes. Now, this is the email from Judd Bernstein to Stephen, where he is threatening him to expose his wife's social media. He says, Stephen, I am not sure you are aware of your wife's posts on social media. While they raise a number of issues, I'm reminding you out of courtesy that she's not covered by the litigation privilege, and to the extent she is relating discussions with you, she may have waived the marital communications privilege. There is no need for you to respond to this email. All right. Now, we went over that in our last video where Judd is stating that so the privilege and marital privilege that they're speaking of is basically when you're married, any statements or communications that you might have with your spouse, you're protected under a marital clause. So they can't bring that up in court. But he's saying that she is not protected, and that she somehow waived her rights or what have you. But I don't understand what his wife's social media posts and any of that has to do with this case of your client harassing Jen and what they are being in court for. Whether you believe or not, whether this woman was harassed by Kenneth Petty and Nicki Minaj, whether or not you believe it, these attorneys have nothing to do, the wife and what she posting on social media has nothing to do with that. All right. A lot of times we tend to go all off into a tangent and try to pull in other things that don't have nothing to do with what you're being sued for. Stick to the facts, stick to the case. Okay, bring in evidence, get your case off the ground. But they're doing too much bickering, so much so that now one of the attorneys has been fired from Jen's camp. Okay, has actually been fired. Okay, here we go. So Stephen writes this letter to the judge, and this was sent today. All right, this letter was submitted today. My firm and I, Stephen and Gordon Esquire, are currently co-counsel representing plaintiff Jennifer Hough in the above referenced action. Pursuant to F2 of Your Honor's individual practice rules, we write to the court advising of our withdrawal as counsel for the plaintiff. On January 27th, I was advised by written letter from lead counsel for the plaintiff, Tyrone A. Blackburn, and it was signed by the plaintiff that my representation is being terminated. The basis for my firm and I's withdrawal is also supported by New York rules of blah, 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 blah. Simply put, without revealing attorney-client privileged communications, lead counsel and I irreconcilably disagree with respect to legal strategy moving forward. This is by no means a reflection of any views concerning the merits of this action or any future related actions. Because I was terminated in writing by the plaintiff, and given that the remaining defendant in this action has not answered the amended complaint, I have not sought consent from the same. Should the court seek to review the plaintiff's letter, I ask permission for it to be filed under seal for in-camera review. Okay, now he's writing this letter to Judge Cho, one of the other judges on this case. All right, it continues as saying, finally, given the amount of time spent working on this case, my firm and I are entitled to attorneys for our representation to date. If or when judgment or settlement is entered, I seek that fees are properly apportioned for our representation to date. It is my understanding that this will be amicably worked out between lead counsel and I at that appropriate time. If no agreement can be reached, we reserve all rights to pursue collection of such fees. So that tells me that Jennifer is working with these attorneys and they're working on a, basis of if she wins this lawsuit, then they're going to be paid. This attorney, Stephen, is stating if they don't get a settlement or if she doesn't win and there's no monies paid to her, we're going to begin a collection process. We are going to send a demand letter demanding our money, demanding, our portion of fees for our representation of what we've done for you so far. Okay. So it's giving Jennifer is, really not coming out of pocket, which is great because I'm really sure that these attorney fees would be extremely expensive. So that tells you that they must really feel that they have a strong case, because I don't know what attorney firm and having two firms would be doing this on a pay, by when you win, then you can pay us, because it's not like this is a case where it's an accidental, and you're hurt or something, a bus ran you over and for sure that you're going to get paid. This is a case where it's up in the air. They don't know whether they're going to be, win or not. So the fact that they are pro bono, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Mrs. Jordan. Pro bono. So the fact that they are doing it pro bono, and they're waiting until she reaches some type of settlement or she wins and then they pay her, that's a lot of money to be, that's a big risk. So, Stephen has had enough. All right. He's had enough, it was a lot going back and forth with Judd and, then trying to bring his wife into it. But him and Tyrone Blackburn seem to disagree on the strategy and how they should be handling this case. So Tyrone and Jen got together and they fired Stephen. They were not here for it. And I feel as though Jennifer is in a way, I believe that that's the best interest for her, because Stephen seems to have a relationship with Mr. Gordon, seems to have a relationship with Judd. I know that they worked together in the past. And so this obsession that everyone is saying that Judd has with Stephen's wife, I think this is in the best interest of Jennifer that she get rid of Stephen, because you're too busy down there to the damn office arguing with Judd instead of doing what needs to be done for me in my defense. Okay. So this is giving extremely, extremely disappointing, because we should be fighting a lawsuit, okay? We should be gearing up to get yourself prepared, your evidence and everything that you got going on, and take that on down to California. Get you some attorneys on over there. All right. It's too much going on in the camps, personally. Too much bickering, too much arguing, when they need to be trying to figure out what their strategy is going to be, how they're going to plan on winning this case, okay? The harassment and everything that's being alleged, it's got to be shown. We need evidence. We need proof. We're going to need all that stuff. So the argument and the bickering and the chaos, Jen, you need to clean house. Clean house, get the attorneys, together, get it in gear, so that when you get yourself ready to go and file in California, and this lawsuit is going to go forward in California, everyone is right. Everyone, you know what I mean? Everyone knows what it is that they're here to do. All right. Stephen had a personal relationship with Judd, and in my opinion, that's a conflict of interest. So her getting rid of Stephen now this early in the game is great. I don't look at that as a bad thing. Okay, we don't have any more cases against Nicki. We don't have any more cases against lawsuit against Kenneth in these jurisdictions. New York, California, Georgia, all these jurisdiction issues. We wiping our hands clean, and now we're going to start over in California. Okay, so that's what this is giving. The case is not thrown out by the judge. It's not dismissed by the court. Jen is voluntarily dismissing both of the charges and cases against each defendant, because she's wanting to pursue the lawsuit in California. All right. It has nothing to do with the court. All right. So we just want to make sure that, we put out the correct narrative. Yes, we support Jen, but I'm very disappointed. I'm disappointed that this has been such so unorganized to me. I support Jen, but you guys know I'm real. Okay. I'm a realist. And in my eyes, the way this is looking, it just looks it just looks all over the place. So I need her to reel her attorneys in, and get them together. All right. Because if we're going to be going for a legal battle in California, we need you to get some, more astute professional attorneys that don't have conflict of interest because they know the damn Judd Bernstein and they have a personal issue with him. No, we need some more professional attorneys. So I'm with that. Clean house, get everybody in order. Okay. But we know the eyes of public opinion, everybody, that she ain't had no evidence. What y'all gonna say now? What y'all, listen. It don't have, and until I see a docket from the court where the judge threw this case out for no evidence, where I see the judge make a statement that this case is frivolous, when I see the judge issue sanctions, then I'll be like, tisk, tisk, tisk. But for right now, that's not what it is. That's a lie. That is a misinterpretation of the facts and what is being presented in the docket. People will pull up these documents, other channels and other content creators that do not like Jen, that are very much Team Nicki, and they will try to interpret them to mean other things. The documentation is what it is. Read it for yourself. It is basically stating that she dismissed this without prejudice so that she can refile the lawsuit in California. It says that in the documentation here, that they are refiling it in California. It says, should this court wish to hear Onika Tanya Miraz's motion, it says, we are refiling against her in California. And they just decided that on January 20th, 2022. Her counsel, once they learned about it, they've been doing everything in their power to try to prolong them refiling by sending letters, by, bothering the judge. Listen, just let it happen. All right. So this isn't we're guessing or guesstimate. No, they said they're going to refile in California, but that's not why the case was thrown out. It was thrown out for jurisdictional reasons, not because the judge said so, not because there was not enough evidence. All right. And we do not even have evidence because we haven't gotten to the discovery phase yet. So again, people that are saying, oh, well, she didn't have evidence. Okay, stop. That's not true. We don't know what evidence she had. We have exhibits, preliminary evidence and exhibits that support her claim. All right. And if it was frivolous and it wasn't giving any, then the judge would not have allowed the case to go forward. You can't just go in front. We've covered lawsuits that didn't even get off the ground. All right. Didn't even get off the ground. Okay. But you can't just claim that, oh, she didn't have evidence and this is why, her case was thrown out. That's not true. Not true at all. So we have to tell the truth when we're, covering these things. I mean, I know that, a lot of times people don't like Jen and, they don't want to see her succeed or win, but it is what it is. You have to, you have to be truthful about what you see and what's going on in the paperwork, in the documentation. All right. Because at the end of the day, that's what all we had to stand on. We're not in the court. We're not in, the meetings with the attorneys. We don't know what's going on down there to the office. So all we can go off of is what these documents say. All right. So I say, Amicalex, and I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that, says no lawyer will even pick up such a mess case. Only people like IG lawyer will do that. I don't know. I don't know why I believe she has her attorneys in California. I believe they're waiting to file. Well, we don't have that yet. You know what I mean? We don't have any indication of that, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be hard to, Tyrone probably has contacts. He probably knows, attorneys and people in California that they can use. And I don't know if he's licensed or able to practice in California, but I do know that as well, that if you're not able to practice, then you would have to find attorneys that can help you in California. But it's giving Jen and Tyrone have fired Stephen. They had disagreement in how this, their strategy. They did not agree on the strategy that they should pursue in filing this case. So they fired him. We can't guess. I don't know, but it was a lot of back and forth. It was giving, Stephen was it was too problematic as when it came to him and Judd. Conflict of interest. They knew each other. They bringing in the wife, discussing the wife's social media. Why are you trolling the wife's social media? Worry about focusing on this, the case. But again, as I always say, I don't know why people are so against this woman having her day in court. If she feels as though she was harassed and she has evidence that proves that, give her her things. Give her her just due. I don't understand. You know what I mean? Why people are so against her filing this lawsuit. And the narrative, oh, well, Kenny, he did his time. Yeah, he did do his time. But Jen did not get her reparations from Kenny because she didn't file a lawsuit against Kenny, or she wasn't even a witness. The DA prosecuted, the state of New York prosecuted Kenny. So Jennifer never had her day. She never got her reparations from this man. Never. So he's got money now. He's, on his feet. Pay me my money for my pain and suffering, because this continues to go on in my life. It's not that, oh, she wants to come back from years 94 and now I want to sue no, I want to sue because I'm being harassed and this is gone and spilled over into my everyday life. And let's just pay real close attention to what this letter says. This says, Plaintiff Jennifer Hough and her counsel hereby give notice that the plaintiff voluntarily dismisses the 5th and 7th causes of action against Kenneth Petty, and only to the extent as it relates to conduct from 2018 or later. So the 4th cause of action of the amended complaint without prejudice. So she's saying that anything that has happened in conduct from 2018 or later. Okay, now that's previous. Okay, conduct from 2018 or later. That's previous. That's not 2018 to 2021. All right, so she's saying that she dismisses. Oh, wait a minute. No. She's saying that she's dismissing from 2018 till now. So what she's saying, I'm sorry. What she's saying is the 94 and the situation and all of that that has happened previously, that she's dismissing this new stuff. So the harassment, is that what that means? You know what I mean? The 2018 till previous? I mean till later? Does that mean 2018 to 2022? Or does that mean 1994 and prior? So she specifically lists a date from 2018 till later. All right. She says extend as it relates to conduct from 2018 or later. So I don't know what those dates, I'm really trying to understand it. And if she is saying that she is submitting and dropping this lawsuit from 2018 or later, I don't believe that. I don't know if there's going to be anything going forward, but I don't know if it just means because we're in New York, and they're dropping the jurisdiction. I don't know. We got to wait to see. If they refile in California, then none of this means anything because they're refiling. And it keeps saying without prejudice. Without was in capitals. So they're making a distinction that we intend to refile. But I don't know what it's giving with the dates, 2018 or later. Does that mean that you're specifically saying, okay, wait a minute. Now that I've talked it out, okay, I get it. Now that I've talked it out, okay, I get it. I get it now. All right. So we know that the jurisdiction was New York. Okay. See, you got to talk it out, child. Got to talk it out. We know that 94 and everything that happened prior to 2018, he's already been convicted for it and he already served his time. He was found guilty. So she can't dismiss anything later than that because he's already been found guilty of it. So she can't take anything back. She can't drop anything or, recant because it's already in writing. So that's what that means. All right. Anything going forward, I'm not dismissing that because I intend to refile in California. All right. So anything prior 2018 or prior, I can't dismiss that or let that go because he's already been found guilty of that in New York. He was convicted and went to jail. So that's what that means. Okay. That's what that means. See, that's why we look at the court documents. I'm telling y'all, that's why we look at the court documents and we go over it. That's why we have to read it. And you have to, you can't just omit certain things, and if I was biased, I wouldn't be saying the dates and what it's really giving. This is what it's saying. So that's what it is that they're saying in this document, that to the conduct as it relates to conduct from 2018 or later. So she cannot take back anything prior because it's already legally, he's been convicted of it and it's already said and done. So the only thing she can take back and say I'm dropping, because those claims are on that paperwork. Those claims are in that lawsuit. We know that they've made reference to the 94 situation and she's filing, for damages for that situation. So she's saying, I can't drop that because it's already been, entered into court and there's already been, a result and there's already been a verdict on that. He went to jail and whoop-de-whoop. But anything after that, yes, we are in the ball game and we're going to be refiling in California. That's what it seems like to me. I'm not I'm not an attorney. This is commentary. This is for, entertainment purposes. We blogging and talking and reading the documents together. I am not a legal professional. Okay. No, ma'am. All right. But I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what it's giving. Like, I don't know if they will refile. Do you guys think that they're really gonna refile? I don't know. But in any event, I'm here for Jen. I'm here for it. If she has been, victimized by Kenneth Petty and Nicki Minaj, she deserves her things. Let the woman file. Let her get her things, get her flowers, give her stuff. But I don't know. If you think she will refile, you guys drop it in the comments, drop it in the chat and let me know. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It will just be interesting to see what they're going to do. Sephora says yes, but another 6 months later. Sincerely Love says no. You don't think so? I don't know. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm here for, I stand for victims. I'm really sympathetic to Jen because she's a victim, and I know how Nicki Minaj's fans can be. I know how they do with me. Whenever I do these videos, they get so upset and they just go off in the comments. And it's just really interesting the type of fan base they are. It's like almost like cultish behavior. If you don't agree, you must go. And that's just horrible because we all are entitled to our opinions. You don't see me, people that have their own opinions in the chat and in the comments, you don't see me going after you because you're entitled. You're entitled to have your opinion. And I'm entitled to have mine. I support Jennifer. I don't believe that she's trying to do anything for money. I don't believe that she's, an opportunist. That's just not what I believe. I choose to stand with her as a victim, and I choose to support her and say, if you were victimized and you were harassed, by all means, you deserve your day in court and you deserve to be vindicated. I'm just not the type of person that is automatically wanting to put a victim down and tell them how long they can be traumatized and how she should be handling her trauma. And then when people say, well, how can she prove that Kenneth Petty, she's suffering emotional damages from Kenneth Petty, her family, she's been victimized by her own family. So how can you prove? You can't prove that. She's not going to be able to prove, here's my level of trauma here. You can't take trauma and show anyone. You can't take your emotions and put it down for people to see. That's just something that you say you're suffering from. All right. But it can't be measured, so I don't even know why people ask those type of questions. Like, that's obvious. She can't prove that. No, she cannot prove that her trauma is from Kenneth Petty. No, but it's obvious. If you were that age and something like that happened to you, of course you would suffer trauma from that. Of course you would be suffering emotional damage from that. Coupled with additional things that happen in your life with your family, fine. It's all a part of your trauma. But you're not going to be able to cut it out and say, here's the portion that belongs to this event. No, it doesn't work like that. So you guys, it will be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know what this means for Jennifer's case. I don't know if they're going to refile it, but she has fired Stephen Gordon. Tyrone is still in the game, but she's fired Stephen Gordon, her and Tyrone. They said that they have a difference in opinion as to how they should strategically move forward with this case. They are in disagreement, so they fired Stephen, gave Stephen the boot. And I'm with that, clean up house. If you're going to be refiling in California, clean it up and get it ready for California. But if they're not, girl, you just wasted everybody's time. Girl, you got me down here fighting people. You got me down here standing for you. And you done just did all this mess. Girl, that's where I'm like, Jen, come on now. You're going to have to do better, boo. You got me down here trying to explain why you doing what you doing, girl. I'm going to need you to get it together. Honey, I'm going to need you to get it together. Now, right is right and wrong is wrong. But in my heart of hearts, I don't believe that she's doing anything for money. All right. But I don't know what is going to happen. I'm not the judge. I'm not in the courtroom. Y'all come over here and act. Just because I have an opinion and I stand for someone, that don't mean I know what the hell going on in court. I don't know. Says, I thought she was only dropping part of the charges against Kenny. Yes, we read that. It says from 2018 or later. So anything, the conduct from 2018 or later, she cannot do anything about that because he's already been convicted for those things. And we know that in the complaint, she's specifically addressing the 94 allegations. So because of, sorry, not allegations, but the 94 event. So given the fact that he's already been convicted of it and, he went to jail and served time for it, she can't drop that. So anything afterwards, she's saying they're dropping that without prejudice because they intend to file, So that's what it is. All right. 2018 or later, that's what she's dropping. Anything current, she's saying, we're going to move forward with it without prejudice, meaning she can always refile again. But we know that they have jurisdictional issues, so we're probably going to see this case be filed in California. Never put your head on a block for anyone. First off, my head is not on a chopping block for anybody. I know that that's just a statement. I know that that's just something that people say, but I didn't put my head. That's everyone's assumption, that I still have my thoughts and opinions about things. Like I just said, like, Jen, girl, if you did all of this just to let everybody down and you're not going to, file, or this was all for nothing. It's like, girl, that's a waste of time. That was just a waste. Now I'm okay with saying things like that, but that doesn't mean that I don't support her. But I'm being honest. Like, girl, why would you do all that? Like, that's just too much. I wouldn't have did all this but if it's going to be refiled in a different jurisdiction, then awesome. Okay, great. See, you have to understand, when you support people, you still can have a freaking opinion. I still am entitled to my opinion. Doesn't mean I don't stand and want to see her get her justice. But right is right and wrong is wrong. And when it's giving, I'm confused. I need answers. I don't have a problem with saying that, period. That's not true support. True support is telling someone when they're wrong. I don't believe that it's a money grab. I don't believe that she's, intentionally trying to sue them for money. I just don't. You believe that, then you believe that. I don't. I believe that this was unorganized. It wasn't, handled appropriately with her attorneys. In my opinion, she need to get rid of Tyrone. I believe that she needs to get rid of Tyrone. In my opinion, I think she needs to start over with fresh attorneys. I don't think that she should have Tyrone as a lawyer. Then that's my opinion. I don't think that he's prepared or qualified to handle this case. I believe that she should have gotten someone different. And if you firing people, you need to go on and get rid of him and find someone else. You know what I mean? Like, girl, it's just too much. I hope Jen can move on. We're gearing up for the next Nicki era. Okay, well, that's great. I mean, that doesn't have anything to do. What? Gearing up for the next Nicki era. Girl, child, bye. I don't give a damn. I don't even listen to that damn music. Me too, the sweetest peach. I was worried for her. Always say, I was tight. She picked Tyrone right after he lost T.I. Right, in Tiny Case. Right. Like, girl, talking about we gearing up for the next Nicki era. Child, bye. I'm 43 years old. I'm not looking for nobody damn era. I don't give a damn what they rap about and what goddamn albums they make. Child, bye. Right. See, I just feel like she need to, get a different attorney. I just don't think that Tyrone is, he just not suitable for this, he down there arguing and got her firing people. Like, really? But I do believe that there was a conflict of interest. Stephen knew, Judd knew Stephen. They'd worked together and they had some little personal beef. So check people resumes before you hire them. We all was able to Google and find that out, like, oh, he worked with him before. You know what I mean? I would have never hired him, so I don't know, guys. I don't know what it's giving. We'll see, right? We'll keep our ear to the streets and we'll keep our eye on the court documents. But yes, part of the lawsuit has been dropped. But like I said, it's just because of the dates. It's because they referenced the 94 case. And she can't take that back because there's already been a verdict on it. You know what I mean? So I was like, girl, does this mean 2018 into current? Then girl, you ain't got no case. I mean, when I was first reading it, I was like, wait a minute. 2018 to later, okay, no, current it would have been. Later means previous because, honey, it was giving, wait a minute, you don't have a case. 2018 to today? Okay, so everything that they did, you saying they ain't, you dropping it? So now I get it. I had to read it. It take me a little minute sometimes the light bulb gotta go off. But yeah, it's just unorganized. Oh, Jen, we got to do better. If you do refile this case, girl, and you do this in California, I'm going to need this to be a little bit more organized. Girl, you got too many dockets, too many paperwork down to the pacer. It's looking like a whole case, and it's a bunch of paperwork full of nothing. It's like, girl, stop. It's like Nicki ain't respond. Kenny ain't respond. The lawyers is arguing. This one talking about this one wife. The judge sitting back like, oh my God. I'm going to need it to be a little bit more organized. Phew. So, right. That's why I like to wait for the verdict if it'll be one, right? Because it's just too much back and forth. But going forward, if you're going to sue, girl, I needed to be more organized because this wasn't it. Okay, you got everybody, into this thing, and now everybody's dropped. But like I said, it would look like that because you have to drop it in order to go to a different jurisdiction. So you do have to drop things. But honey, I need to get this need to be more organized when y'all going down to Cali. All right, I need a more experienced attorney. Get rid of Tyrone. Let him go. In my humble opinion, get rid of Tyrone and start over. Since you cleaning house, get over it. Let him go. I don't know what attachment you got with Tyrone, but he needs to go. All right. I don't think that he is, equipped to handle something like this. He need to go. All right, you guys. So that's this little quick update. Wanted to give you guys that Jen has fired her attorney, Stephen Gordon. She's also dropped the case against Kenneth Petty from 2018 and prior. All right. She has dropped that. And boom. Now, I don't know if she's just suing him for the sexual assault and she dropping the harassment charges and she gonna be suing Nicki for the harassment charges. I don't know, but that's the way I interpreted these documents. Okay. Now I could be wrong. This is my commentary and this is the way I interpret it. That 2018 or later, in my opinion, later is previous. You're saying that you can't drop that. Okay. But anything later and after that, you know what I mean? You want to go forward with it. That's how I'm looking at it. But if it's not like that, child, I don't know. I don't know why you had to put a damn date. I don't know why you had to put a damn date, girl. So Chatter says she's suing for the sexual assault. So that's what it is. That's what you think. So you think that it is that she's just suing for the sexual assault for Kenny and the harassment she want to put it on. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's trying to organize it. Because the way that thing say 2018 or later, I'm going to need a date range. I'm needed to say 2018 to 2022. Or I'm going to need it to say 94 to 2018. I'm going to need a date range because this later, that word is throwing me off. I don't know if it means prior, later, because if it's a later date, that would be it was later. That means previous. Now, if it was future or current, I'm going to need those words because it's just too much. It's too much. All right. So that's all I got for you guys. We will continue to follow this as we get new developments. Okay. So this has been another edition of the Sweet Pea Diaries. You guys be sure to like this video, share this video, but most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'm out. Now, For the rest of y'all that say, oh, you don't listen, this is commentary, but one thing that I do know good and god darn well, she fired Stephen Gordon. All right. That's it. Now, this whole what she dropped, and honey, she dropped the shit against Kenneth Petty. I don't know what dates or what she's suing. I don't know, but she dropped it. And it could either be it's 2018 and prior, or it could be she just suing him for the sexual assault and not the harassment, and she going to sue Nicki for the harassment. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's very unorganized, and I'm sick of it. If you're going to do this shit, do it right, get it together, and file in California. But right now, it's given unorganized. Everybody's all over the place, and I'm sorry to my Jen supporters. I love Jen. I love this, want to see her win, but this is very unorganized, very confusing, and it's just too much. If you're not going to sue these people, go on away and go live your life. If you are, then get it together. Get you some attorneys that are experienced, that know what they're doing, and do it. But if not, let the shit go and go and live your life, girl. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.